I've been with my boyfriend for 4 years, and as we were about to get married, I asked my dad if he wanted to meet him. My dad replied, "No need." At that moment, I was relieved I hadn't asked him in person. Thankfully, it was over the phone. All I had to do was hang up and avoid facing him. That night, my mom called and told me not to be angry with Dad, explaining that he was just too busy. I then asked her, "Do you want to come and meet him?" She paused, then stammered, "Of course I will." When I asked her when she was free, she started talking about my grandmother's poor health, how busy Dad was with work and needing someone to cook for him, rambling on and on. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore and interrupted her. "I have something to attend to here. Maybe we can talk next time." I clearly heard her sigh with relief. At that moment, I felt overwhelmingly bitter. After hanging up, I looked out the window at the countless lights glowing from homes, feeling an immense loneliness. Not a single light had ever been lit for me. Dad took a vacation just to travel to the guy's city and investigate him. He said that marrying the wrong person could ruin a woman's life. And if he didn't look into it, my sister might get deceived. In the end, that guy and my sister didn't last. It was because Dad found out his parents were both addicted to gambling. My sister protested by refusing to eat, stubbornly opposing Dad. During that time, Dad smoked cigarette after cigarette, and Mom sighed all day, worried my sister would harm her health. I was also in a relationship back then. Summoning my courage, I said to my mom, "Mom, I'm in a relationship." She just glanced at me and said, "Oh, that's good. You're old enough." As for my dad, he didn't even ask. For a moment, I felt like a clown, desperately trying to attract the audience's attention, but they never wanted to watch my show. I was born with a purpose. If it weren't for my sister, I wouldn't even exist in this world. My sister was diagnosed with a hemoglobin disorder when she was 2 years old. To treat her illness, I was conceived. They didn't want me. They wanted my umbilical cord blood and hematopoietic stem cells. My sister was a picky eater, so my parents went to great lengths to cook all sorts of delicious dishes for her. Once, to coax my sister into eating the last chicken wing on the plate, Dad deliberately said, "Zhao Zhu, if you don't eat this, I'll give it to Zhao Yu." There were only 4 chicken wings in total, and I knew my sister was already full. I was really craving it, so without thinking, I bit into it. Then Dad slapped me across the face. "Are you a reincarnated pig? A dog that's never full? Don't you know your sister is unwell?" An overwhelming sense of shame swallowed me whole. At the dinner table, I cried uncontrollably for the first time. Hearing my cries, my sister quickly said, "Stop crying, I'm full. You can have the chicken wing." The more she said that, the harder I cried. Then she inadvertently touched her chest, and I reflexively stopped crying. The doctor had advised that even after leaving the hospital, she needed to rest quietly, so our home had always been very calm. Sure enough, when my mom saw my sister touch her chest, she scolded me. "What are you wailing about? Are you here to collect a debt? Stop crying. No more food for you." I didn't make another sound, only hiccuping from crying, but no one paid attention to me. So, while the 3 of them enjoyed a happy family moment, I left the house alone and walked tirelessly, not knowing where to go. When I got really thirsty, I drank tap water from a park fountain. As it grew dark, I found a step in the park and sat down. I watched the people coming and going, envying their laughter, and even the cries of children. Because when children cry, someone comforts them, making crying their weapon. But at home, even when I cried, I had to consider that my sister needed a quiet environment. Slowly it grew darker, and fewer people were around. I hesitated about whether to go back. At first, I hoped they would come looking for me. I glanced toward home many times, even stood at the entrance for a long time, until I finally convinced myself no one was coming. Sitting on the step, I didn't know what to do. An aunt approached me to ask for directions, and I pointed the way. She insisted I take her there, but I remembered adults talking about human traffickers. I ran until my stomach ached from the exertion, and my lungs felt like they were about to burst. When I finally made it home, I saw my mom washing dishes. Without even looking up, she said, "So you decided to come back? There's no dinner for you tonight." I swallowed the words on the tip of my tongue. Even a lost dog gets searched for by its owners. I felt like I was the packaging for my sister's medicine. My sister took the medicine, but the packaging remained at home for years. Like a piece of garbage that keeps growing. One that can't be thrown away and even costs money. So if I had really gotten lost that day, they probably would have been relieved. My sister was doing homework in her room, and Dad wasn't home. The only sound in the house was my mom washing dishes. My nose stung with the urge to cry, but I fought it back. Without thinking, I asked the question, "Mum, do you hate me?" She ignored me and continued cleaning the stove. "Why did you have me when you already had my sister?" She finally stopped, looking at me with exhaustion. "What do you want now? Can't you just not cause trouble?" "I'm already so tired, Zhao Yu. Can't you be more sensible? Be more sensible. Be more obedient." These were the words I heard most growing up. In the end, perhaps because I cried for too long, she finally picked me up and comforted me. "Dad and Mum are already exhausted, sweetheart. Can't you think about us? Your sister is unwell, so you need to take good care of her." Resting on her shoulder, I mumbled quietly, "If only my sister hadn't gotten sick." She sighed. "There's nothing we can do about it. So we have to take good care of your sister. Then I wouldn't have had to be born." The last sentence was spoken softly. I don't know if she heard it. In school, I studied tirelessly. But whenever I brought home my report card, my parents would always find a way to add, "When you succeed in the future, you must take care of your sister." If my sister showed the slightest sign of discomfort, everyone would panic like startled birds. But me? I was like a machine that never broke down. I remember in 6th grade, I came home soaked from the rain one day. By evening, my forehead was burning with fever. And I didn't even go out for dinner. I pleaded with my mom, telling her I was unwell and asking her to take me to the doctor. She told me to sleep it off. But the more I lay there, the worse I felt. As I struggled to get up, I overheard my mom and dad talking about how lazy I was becoming. They thought I was pretending to be sick to avoid chores. I felt deeply humiliated. Frantically searching my room, I found a thermometer. I discovered my temperature was 38.5 degrees Celsius. Staring at the thermometer, tears streamed down my face. I took it to my mom. She glanced at it and simply said, "Oh, and lie down and rest." I stood there still crying. Finally, she impatiently dug out a bunch of medicine for me to take. As she handed it to me, she muttered, "You really are here to collect a debt. You won't be satisfied until you've tired me to death." Under her gaze, I swallowed all the pills. In the middle of the night, I vomited violently. Remembering the medicine I had taken, I was terrified. I cried out for them, but no one answered. The floor was covered in my vomit. Just when I thought they wouldn't come, my mom finally pushed the door open. She walked straight over and slapped me across the face, shouting, "Couldn't you have vomited in the bathroom? Are you trying to die?" That slap made my vision swim. I nearly blacked out, collapsing straight onto the bed. I didn't even have the strength to open my eyes. My mom seemed scared. She touched my nose, then hoisted me over her shoulder. Calling out to my dad, "Lao Xiao, come quickly. Zhao Yu seems to be in trouble." Her shoulder dug into me, making me feel even more nauseous. But I didn't dare vomit, afraid she would scold me. When she finally put me in the car, I couldn't hold back anymore and vomited violently. My mom's face turned grim. I clutched her hand tightly and begged, "Mum, please take me to the doctor. I'll be filial to you. I can work hard. I can do so many chores. And I'll make money in the future. When I grow up, I'll earn money." Later, my mom often brought this up, saying she had given me 2 lives, one by giving birth to me, and another by taking me to the doctor. If we hadn't gone in time, I would have burned up and become an idiot, destined to marry a fool in some remote village instead of going to college. My sister often says she doesn't have any dreams, she just wants to live happily every day. She says she admires my drive, how I always have endless energy unlike her, who feels like a lazy slacker. Luckily, she has our parents and me. But no matter how hard I strive for something, all she has to do is casually mention it, and our parents will make sure she gets it. Because of her illness, my sister started school a year or 2 late, so we ended up in the same grade. While I stayed up late every night solving problems and memorizing vocabulary, she hid under her blankets reading novels. Our parents felt sorry for her, worried she might strain her eyes. So they bought her blue light glasses and an eye massager. By middle school, my own eyesight was already nearly -4.00 diopters. It was only because my sister developed nearsightedness from reading novels that I got to use the eye massager too. I clearly remember one night after staying up late to finish my homework. I was scrolling through QQ Space and saw her post. "I'm just a lazy slacker with no dreams. Life is all about being happy." One comment below it read, "But I think girls like you are great, unlike some girls who have that shrewd, calculating look in their eyes." The girl who commented was Jongwen, my archenemy in class. She often criticized me, saying I had to compete for first place in everything, and that I should learn from my sister. But the world is inherently unfair. Some people seem born to suffer. In the end, through hard work, I got into my dream high school. My sister, on the other hand, got into the same school because our parents paid a hefty school selection fee. I don't know how to describe that feeling, like all my efforts had become a joke. She didn't have to do anything. She just stood there and won. For a while, my sister liked a boy. He played basketball, smiled like a little poplar tree, and had many girls chasing after him. My sister was just one of them. I remember her staying up all night folding paper stars for him, knitting him a scarf as soon as winter began, and even refusing to eat or drink because of him. But the boy never paid her any attention. Our parents were extremely worried and asked me what had happened. I didn't know whether to keep my sister's secret. After all, when I started high school, my mom had warned me, "Zhao Yu, if you dare date anyone, don't bother going to school. Go out and work." I couldn't help but wonder how they would react if they knew my sister had become like this over a boy. While I was hesitating, my sister suddenly rushed out, hugged my mom and sobbed, "Mom, he doesn't like me. He doesn't like me." My mom froze for a moment, then quickly hugged her back, gently patting her back. "Don't cry. If he doesn't like you, he's blind. There are plenty of boys better than him out there for Arzuexu." My dad chimed in, "So that's what this is about. Sweetheart, you're still young. When you grow up and meet more people, you won't think he's so great anymore." Watching the three of them, I felt like I was dreaming. So, our parents could be gentle and understanding too. When I first started high school, a boy helped me carry my luggage. My mom saw it and slapped me right in front of everyone. She called me shameless, saying I was already attracting attention on my first day at school. She cursed me with every foul word imaginable. Standing there among the students and parents, I felt like I'd been stripped naked and thrown into the sunlight. Even when I cried uncontrollably, she didn't relent. She said if I didn't want to be scolded, I should learn to behave myself. Later, I argued with her about it a few times. She always said she wasn't well educated and had little culture, then turned it back on me. "Why do you always pick fights with me?" I finally realized it had nothing to do with education or culture. It was about the person. I just didn't deserve her self-control. I was merely an object for them to vent their emotions on. Who cares if an object is sad or happy? Strangely, even though it was my sister who was heartbroken, I was the one who suddenly burst into tears. It wasn't that I couldn't endure hardship, scolding, or even beatings. It was just that I couldn't bear the comparison. The moment I compared, the overwhelming sense of disparity dragged me bit by bit into an abyss. Afraid my sister wouldn't get into college, our parents sent her to study art in her second semester of high school. Because my sister took the art college entrance exam route, the high tuition fees and art supply costs put a severe strain on our family's finances. So much so that my mom took on part-time work after her regular job, like helping out at a nearby hot pot restaurant. My sister went away for training and would return with piles of clothes each time. My mom always washed, dried, folded, and stored them in her closet or suitcase. The washing machine happened to break that winter, and they delayed buying a new one. That winter, my hands were covered in chilblains. I tried to tell them I was in my second year of high school, and studying was intense. Winter clothes were especially hard to wash. Just wringing out the water from a jacket took all my strength. My entire memory of that winter is of clothes that wouldn't dry and started to smell, icy cold tap water, the damp bathroom from washing clothes, and grey, gloomy skies. At 15, my biggest wish that winter was for a washing machine. I even tried saving up for one from my living expenses. The cheapest one would do, under 500 yuan. After going hungry countless times, I finally saved enough. But when I handed the money to my mom, Her first thought was whether my living allowance was too high since I had some left over. She took the 500 yuan and said it would count toward my future living expenses. The washing machine never came. Later, I thought about it countless times. Maybe a 500 yuan washing machine wasn't too expensive. Maybe it was just that I, the person who wanted to use it, didn't deserve it. Any money spent on me, even an extra cent, was a waste. Later, when my sister came home for winter break, my mom bought a new washing machine to make things easier for her. I finally got to use the washing machine, but I felt no joy. I didn't even have the energy to question it because I already knew the answer. They never saw my sister and me as both their children. I was just an extra person who shouldn't have been there. It seems human hearts are born biased. Love is an instinct. They gave all their instinctive love to my sister, leaving none for me. My sister is someone favored by fate. My sister had some talent for painting, and with our parents spending a fortune on one-on-one tutoring for her, she ended up getting into a prestigious art school in our province after the art entrance exams. I, on the other hand, studied day and night and barely made it into a 211 university. At the college celebration dinner, our parents showed her off everywhere. I shrank into a corner, eating large mouthfuls of food in silence. Then someone mentioned, "Your Zhao Yu did pretty well too." My dad just took a deep drag of his cigarette and said, "Raising 2 kids is such a huge financial burden." So, being the considerate person I am, I applied for a student loan as soon as college started. Throughout college, I worked like crazy to earn money. But all I got was even more pronounced differential treatment. When the air conditioner broke, they told me to pick a new one online. They even asked me to buy them new phones. Meanwhile, my own phone was so scratched up the screen was almost unreadable. The breaking point came one day during the Chinese New Year. My sister said, "Your phone screen is so scratched up." If I'd known, I wouldn't have sold my old one as a second-hand item. That's when I found out she'd gotten 2 new iPhones that year, both bought by our parents. Her social media was full of posts about eating, drinking, and having fun. From childhood, her only job was to stay happy. It all felt like a joke. I asked my mom, "If you have money to buy my sister 2 iPhones, why do you need me to buy you a phone?" "Fine, don't buy me anything or give me money from now on. I can't take it from you." Before I could say anything, she went on a tirade. My hand trembled as I picked up food with my chopsticks. I even held back my tears because I knew they were useless. If I cried, they'd just think I was being dramatic. That night, my sister came to me and told me not to take it to heart with our mum. She said Mom was just tough on the outside but soft on the inside. That I was too strong-willed for a girl, and that girls shouldn't be so assertive. I looked up at her as she rambled on. Even in college, she still acted like a child loved to act cute, and her daily mantra was still, "I'm just a lazy slacker. Please, I just want to lie flat." Everyone thought she was innocent and adorable. My mom, tough on the outside but soft on the inside. Ha, the toughness was for me. The softness was for her. I was too exhausted to deal with her and finally said, "Please leave. I want to rest." Becoming financially independent in your second year. My sister is amazing. After graduation, I rushed from one job interview to another. To save money, I squeezed onto countless buses in this city. One night, as I took the last bus back to school, I saw her post on social media. "Made it to Qinghai," with a picture of an airplane above the clouds. I knew she'd gone to Qinghai for a state-owned enterprise interview, because it was supposedly easier to get in there. To help her find a job after graduation, our parents had already given her around 20,000 yuan. Leaning against the bus window, the flashing lights of passing cars streaked through the night, perhaps dazzling my eyes. Tears involuntarily streamed down my face. Pathetic, right? Like a stray dog. I once read a sentence. Not being loved is the greatest poverty in this world. Well, I guess I really am the poorest person in the world. Until Yan Jin appeared, just like that, by my side. I thought I wouldn't date in college since I had nothing to offer. But who can resist a heart full of sincerity? He cared for me meticulously and went out of his way to make me happy. The umbrella he held for me in the rain, breakfast every morning, standing up for me when others mocked me for being poor. He was everywhere in my life. We officially got together on New Year's Eve during my second year of college. Looking at the dazzling fireworks outside the window, I suddenly realized it was Chinese New Year's Eve. to earn triple pay during the holiday. I once again chose not to go home. On my way back from my part-time job, it was pouring rain. When I woke up, I was drenched in sweat and didn't have the strength to move. Catching a faint, lingering foul smell, my heart sank it might be a gas leak. I struggled to get up, but I truly had no strength left. I kept trying to rise, but the smell grew stronger, and I found it harder and harder to breathe. For a moment I thought, maybe it's better to just let go. Reaching for my phone, I wondered who I could contact. Instinctively I thought of Yanjin, but as soon as I turned it on, the phone died. Despair engulfed me, and I started crying. It wasn't a fear of death, I just didn't know what I had lived for all these years. But was I really going to die here? Fireworks lit up the sky outside, and laughter filled the air. I could accept leaving this world, but not like this. Slowly my vision grew blurry, but I was so tired. The voice sounded like Yanjin's. I must be hallucinating. Even though I didn't know why you liked me, that being liked and cared for was really, really nice. I just regretted it a little. Wouldn't you feel resentful leaving like this? Don't you want a better life? What have you gotten out of this life? Please, Zhao Yu. I love you. Love you to the point of no return. I want you to live well, even if it's not with me. Just please, survive this time, okay? In my haze, I heard the sound of an ambulance and felt something wet on my eyes. I had many, many dreams, all pieced together from bad memories. I didn't know what to do. Why do you always cause trouble? I trembled and cried uncontrollably, until I heard Yanjin's voice. I looked straight at the people in my dreams. Just because you don't like me, just because you hate me, does that mean I shouldn't live? I want a better life. Don't I deserve a better life? When I opened my eyes, Yanjin was lying beside me. His eyes were red, and his face was covered in stubble. Are you hungry? On the second day of the Chinese New Year, while families were reuniting, I had just narrowly escaped death. Yanjin wiped my tears and said, I'm here. I won't stay like this forever. He gently patted my back. Okay. Having seen couples break up, I didn't want to lose myself completely. He just wiped my tears and said, silly. I started dating Yanjin. He was completely different from me. He often participated in various competitions. He shone brightly in crowds. For a moment I was at a loss. Being together meant his light slowly began to shine on me too. Our lifestyles and life experiences were completely different. Every gift he gave me made me rack my brains. How could I repay him? How could I avoid taking advantage of him? Should I say, I want to stand on equal ground with you? That sounded absurd. All roads lead to Rome, but he was born in Rome, and I was someone dragged down at every step. Just as I thought, maybe it was time to end it. We had accidentally strayed into each other's worlds, and it was time to return to our own places. Just as I was about to give up on this relationship, he took the initiative to apologize. He sat down and talked to me patiently, carefully navigating topics I might be sensitive about. He apologized to me and discussed how we could handle our relationship moving forward. If someday we don't end up together, I believe we'll split it fairly, right? To him, problems were meant to be solved. I cried uncontrollably in front of him, and he simply held me tight. Over and over, he told me, this isn't your fault. I was hurt. It was the first time I'd heard such an idea. Before, I'd always heard, they're your family. There's nothing you can do. Whenever I tried to express my true feelings, I'd only hear, do you think you're the only one who's tired? You always make everyone unhappy when you come home. After that, I visited home less and less. It's fine if you don't come back. I can't describe how I felt when I got that call. See? It wasn't just me who felt pain. They didn't want to see me either. But if they disliked me so much, why did they give birth to me? What was the purpose of my existence? A medicine produced for my sister. My sister had already taken the medicine, so the packaging could be thrown away. If no one loves me, can't I love myself a little? Can I live a good life? Shouldn't I live a better life? Don't I deserve a good life? You're the strong, independent woman I can never be. Sob, I'll rely on you from now on. Even over the phone, I could sense her cheerfulness. I stayed silent as she continued talking. She said she wanted to find a boyfriend who was optimistic, loved cooking, had a decent job but wasn't a workaholic, and enjoyed life. She described her ideal boyfriend in detail. For my emotional safety, he never let me see them alone. But Yanjin was good at handling situations, always maintaining an appropriate distance to keep my emotions stable. Until I saw the WeChat message Xiao Zhu sent him. Jin, sometimes I really envy Xiaoyu. She's successful in her career, and has someone who loves her so much. Yanjin replied, yeah, she deserves it. Xiao Zhu. Right. Not like me, I'm just a lazy slacker. Yanjin. Is that all you have to say to your future sister-in-law? Yanjin didn't reply after that. I stared at my phone, lost in thought. Zhu seemed to really like what was mine. When we were young, our parents weren't this extreme. When did it start? One year during the Chinese New Year, they were going to buy me a little red coat. Zhao Zhu watched longingly as I got a toy she wanted, pretending to be understanding and saying she could wait. Then she crouched on the ground, complaining of heart pain or stomach pain. Every part of her body seemed prone to pain. If it wasn't one thing, it was another. She always played the victim, retreating strategically to get everything she wanted. We were never on equal footing. Just because she had been sick, just because she was the treasure our parents had saved from death countless times, she took it for granted that she enjoyed all the attention and care. Even though she was the one taking advantage, everyone ended up thinking she was the one who suffered. At first, I kept waiting for my parents and family to glance my way, or for them to apologize or say they were sorry. But even though I was the one constantly giving and enduring, I was always the one being blamed. Xiao Zhu was never satisfied. She would never be satisfied. The real explosion happened on an ordinary afternoon. Yanjin and I were taking a walk when Xiao Zhu suddenly showed up. She said she'd bought a small apartment and wanted my advice on decorating it. I asked, "You bought it?" She looked a little annoyed but then grinned. "I borrowed it from Mom and Dad. I'll pay them back when I have money later." "But you haven't worked in almost a year." That one sentence was enough to make her tear up, just like countless times before. The apartment was already bought. I only found out after the fact. That home belonged to the three of them. She crouched on the ground, crying pitifully with her head in her hands. My boyfriend stood there, unsure what to do. She looked up at him with red-rimmed eyes, like a little white rabbit. Ignoring everyone, I strode away and called my mom. I remembered when I first started my internship. I had to give 2,000 yuan to the family every month. My parents always said, "We raised you all this time. Can't you give us something now that you're grown? What's the point of raising you?" I did that for 3 years. Meanwhile, Zhao Zhu stayed home unemployed for a year and a half. She'd once insisted on going to City S, taking over 10,000 yuan from home. My dad sent her 5,000 yuan borrowed from me, and still hasn't paid me back. Later, my dad wanted to buy a car and borrowed 85,000 yuan from me, saying he'd pay me back later. Who knows how long later will be. It felt like I was holding my breath. If they thought I owed them, I'd repay them. In my second year of college, I won a national first-class scholarship and took on various part-time jobs, never asking my family for money again. I ran back and forth between part-time jobs and school, while Zhao Zi was planning weekend trips. When the call connected, my mom sounded impatient. "What is it?" She always said Zhao Zi was her warm little cotton-padded jacket, calling her several times a week, and talking for over half an hour each time. But I was the ungrateful white-eyed wolf, only contacting her a few times a year, with each call lasting less than a minute. Even though she was always the one impatiently hanging up, I took a deep breath. "It's nothing. I want to buy a car. Mom, can you pay back the money I lent you? If possible, could you lend me a little more too? What does a girl need a car for? Don't you have a boyfriend? You bought Zhao Zhu a car right after she graduated. Your sister isn't well, and no one takes care of her. Are you jealous over a car? What kind of person are you? What kind of person are you? Did I ask you to give birth to me? Was I born just to be mistreated?" I finally lost it, shouting and crying over the phone. Well, now that you can earn a little money, you think you're something. Don't give me anything from now on. I guess I don't deserve it. Let's just pretend I never gave birth to you. I listened calmly, tears streaming down my face. She didn't know I was recording the call. The call ended and I still didn't get my money. It wasn't that I didn't try. It was that the favored one didn't have to do anything to get everything. I felt like I was sinking in quicksand. The more I struggled, the faster I sank. Not long after, my dad called. "We're getting old, you need to be understanding." He always thought I was the unreasonable one, that I wasn't understanding enough. Even if I drained myself dry for them, they'd never think well of me. Nothing felt more powerless than that. I quickly ended the conversation and found a bench to sit on alone. Yan Jin found me. I stared numbly at the people passing by on the street. He sat silently beside me, quietly keeping me company until I broke the silence. "This is my life exhausting." He reached over and wiped my tears. "Silly, you have me. Let me handle it." I leaned on his shoulder, completely drained. Looking up, I saw Zhao Zhu not far away. For the first time, I saw jealousy in her eyes, the kind of look I used to give her. I held Yan Jin tighter. I knew Zhao Zhu too well. I understood all her preferences, a subconscious understanding born from being cast aside, again and again. Yan Jin was exactly the type she'd like. The person she liked most at 18 never even glanced at her. He even moved away to avoid her. She tried so hard to please him, only to disgust him further. Now here was Yan Jin, who looked 70% like that boy but was even better. How could she not be tempted? Not long after I started at University A, I learned about Yan Jin. I knew he liked basketball, model airplanes, and what kind of girls he preferred. I approached him step by step. He always thought I was harmless, someone who needed saving. But he didn't know. I knew exactly which paths he'd take. On rainy days, I'd forget my umbrella and pass by him, clutching my books tightly to my chest. Even the way I glanced back at him was calculated. I appeared frequently in his life. When he played basketball, I worked part-time at the nearby convenience store. I deliberately provoked someone difficult so he could play the hero and save me. Every coincidental meeting was intentional. I knew him long before he knew me. I never ate breakfast to begin with, and I wasn't actually unwell. In front of him, I played the fragile rabbit. His pity and care were all directed at me, and I slowly took over his entire life. I let him see me at my most vulnerable countless times. Not going home for the new year was deliberate, only the gas leak was an accident. I could feel his hands trembling as he held me. At that moment, I suddenly felt it was nice to know him. His tears fell on my face, I tasted them salty. A boy crying for me. It was an indescribable feeling. I also heard the promises he whispered in my ear. If I woke up, he'd do anything I asked. He kept apologizing, saying, "I'm sorry. I didn't take good care of you." Silly fool. I didn't need anyone to take care of me. For a while, I almost refused to let him meet Zhao Zhu. But jealousy and hatred had already consumed me. Of course, I didn't just let him see my embarrassment. Someone who'd always hidden in the shadows would shine brightest when they finally stepped into the light. At a singing competition, I walked up to him in a white gown. He stared at me, dumbstruck. I knew I'd won. Sitting in the center of the stage in my gown, he sang "Angel's Wings" to me. At the most emotional part, I even saw tears in the corners of his eyes. He genuinely cared for me, a strange feeling, since everything had gone according to plan. So why did that single tear make my heart tremble so violently? But when I truly saw the sincere heart beneath the surface, the one devoted entirely to me, I just wanted to run away. It wasn't that I genuinely cared about those trivial matters. It was just to maintain my persona. When I was prepared to see him get angry, he was the one who apologized first. He was really trying to make our relationship work. At that moment, I actually wanted to let him go. But in the end, I wasn't a good person either. I was someone rotting in the shadows. I still brought him in front of Zhao Zhu, testing her limits, pushing her until she collapsed under the last shred of her shame. Now, only the final blow remained. I could even feel his hands trembling around my waist. Zhao Zhu still stood not far away. Later, I posted a picture of a ring on social media. It was actually a stock photo, I just commented that it was pretty. The next day, Yan Jin and I went back to our university. We walked by the lake, surrounded by clusters of baby's breath I loved so much. I often came here with Yan Jin. Under a rose-colored twilight, the sky was dyed in brilliant hues. The lake shimmered. Willow branches swayed in the wind, and baby's breath bloomed in clusters, dreamily under the lights and fading dusk. Nearby, A group of students practiced skateboarding to the soundtrack of Confession Balloon. Suddenly, a small model airplane landed near me, dropping a ring box in front of me. He walked up to me with a large bouquet of red roses, saying he wished he'd met me sooner and that he wanted to be with me forever. A university garden had somehow been planted with lots of baby's breath. A student tending the garden said, "Senior, please say yes. We've been planting baby's breath for you for almost 3 years." Most of this area on campus was allocated to horticulture students for practice. At some point, they planted lots of baby's breath. I'd always thought it was a coincidence. I vaguely remembered once complaining to Yanjin that I didn't like most of the flowers planted on campus. I wish they'd deplant more baby's breath. He'd laughed and said I was dreaming. But not long after, large patches of baby's breath actually appeared. Yanjin stood before the sea of flowers, his gaze intense. I saw his Adam's apple bob several times. He always did that when he was nervous. His fists were clenched tightly. He took a deep breath and walked toward me. He was so nervous he almost dropped the ring box. He asked, "Don't you think the one I bought looks better?" As soon as he said it, his ears turned bright red. Before I could reply, he continued, "Xiaoyu, will you give me the chance to take care of you forever?" Looking into his bright eyes, I suddenly felt disgusting. He didn't owe me anything. Why was I dragging him into this? I didn't know what to say or do. Seeing his red ears, I instinctively reached out and touched them. "Why are you so nervous?" "No, I'm not nervous." "Will you?" he stuttered, asking again. I didn't answer, and the atmosphere grew awkward. He was always good at making excuses for me, just like I used to make countless excuses for my parents. After that, we silently avoided the topic. Watching Yanjin bustling about, I didn't know what my next move should be. Not long after, I received a text from Zhao Zhu, asking me to meet at the park. It was the same park where I had nearly gotten lost years ago. We found a tea house to sit in, and she suddenly said, "Back then, I used to watch you from this very window. That day I was actually following you the whole time. I told Mom I saw you, and you came back soon after. I was really worried when I saw you almost getting kidnapped." She spoke haltingly, revealing that all those seemingly accidental moments were actually deliberate. There's never love without reason. The child who cries and makes a fuss gets the candy. I silently sipped my tea. Truthfully, I didn't know what I wanted either. Even though I was fully aware of my place in this family, I kept testing the boundaries. The more it hurt, the more I tested. "I'm sorry." Zhao Zhu suddenly grabbed my hand. "I feel like I've always been a burden to Mom and Dad. When you appeared, I was so scared they would abandon me. You never cause trouble. You tough it out even when you're sick. Mom and Dad always say how amazing you are. So sensible, not like me who always worries them." As she spoke, her eyes suddenly reddened, and by the end, tears were falling. Sensible? I can't stand that word anymore. I'm terrified of people describing me that way. Because once someone says that, it means you're about to be ignored. You have to give more. You have to suffer more. Why should I only be allowed to be sensible? Seeing my silence, she suddenly added, "You don't know. Mom and Dad have always been proud of you. Whenever they chat with others, they praise you." Praise me for what? Praise me for being sensible? Praise me for what I've brought them? Praise me for being the investment with the smallest cost and the greatest return? Do you want that kind of praise? Do you think money just falls from the sky, that you can just lie back and relax? I questioned her, word by word. I'm sorry. Zhao Yu, I understand you were neglected. I understand your pain. So, I'll give Mom and Dad to you. I won't compete with you anymore, okay? Give them to me? How exactly? I looked her over. She pressed her hands on her thighs, veins showing, then seemed to steel herself and said, "Can you swap Yanjin for me? I'll go with him to his hometown, and from now on, Mom and Dad will be yours. I'm sorry, I'm shameless, but I've really fallen for him. I just can't control myself. I'm sorry. And haven't you always wanted to get Mom and Dad's attention? If I'm far away, they'll notice you more." I laughed. "Give them to me?" I took a sip of tea and said calmly, "It's not like that. How could you think of me that way? Aren't we sisters?" "Zhao Yu?" She looked at me, her eyes red. I didn't speak, just smiled as I watched her. You don't want mum and dad now, right? Then give them to me. I'll take care of them in their old age. You won't have to spend a single cent. You won't have to worry about anything. She wiped her tears and said seriously. I still didn't say anything. I know, you deliberately brought Yan Jin in front of me. I tried to control myself, not to like him, but I really couldn't help it. You must have never really liked someone, right? You're always so rational. How could you ever lose control? I know you wanted to see my boundaries slowly disappear. You wanted to see me slowly fall. As I stood up, she suddenly grabbed my arm tightly and said, Let me have this one last thing, okay? Give Yan Jin to me, and I'll give you that apartment too. I remained silent. She suddenly became angry. You've won. You've won. You don't really like him that much either. Do you? If you did, would you have deliberately brought him to me? My mind was filled with the thought. Do I not really like him? Do I not like him? Can a person really be a machine? Completely emotionless. I fled in a panic. Zhao Zu's voice followed me. Zhao Yu, you wouldn't actually fall for someone, right? Zhao Yu, you don't like him. You definitely don't like him. Now that your revenge on me is successful, it's time for you to reap the rewards. Lying in bed, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. I had already recorded Zhao Zu's words during the day. At the time, I even wondered if I should edit out the parts unfavorable to me. But now, holding these recordings, I felt no interest at all. My attention suddenly shifted to, what will Yan Jin do when he finds out? Then I tried hard to convince myself. It's okay. It's okay. You can live without anyone. It's fine. Thinking this, I took the recordings and prepared to send them to our family group chat. I hesitated there for a long time, but ultimately didn't press send. I looked up at the ceiling. What am I doing? Is there even any point? I didn't expect that while I was hesitating, my parents would suddenly come to me themselves. It turned out Zhao Zu went home and couldn't hold back telling them everything. My mother just said cautiously, Your sister has always been in poor health. Don't take it to heart. How about we just hold the wedding at Yan Jin's hometown? I adjusted my sitting posture, straightened my back and suddenly said maliciously, What Zhao Zu said is true. I am exactly the kind of scheming person you always said I was. I just wanted to see what you would do. My mother seemed frightened, even knocking over her teacup. What do you gain from this? For fun. Zhao Yu. My father stood up abruptly. What? Going to hit me? What right do you have to hit me? I stood up too. Because I'm your father. My father's neck flushed red with anger. Whose parents are you? Mine? I sat back down instead, sneering. Zhao Yu, no, how did you become like this? It's not what you think. You know, your sister's health isn't good, so we paid more attention to her. My mother was already crying uncontrollably, but I continued, Stop pretending. Let me guess what you want to do. You want to cry and beg me to give my boyfriend to your precious elder daughter. Beg me to keep giving my blood to your good little girl. Zhao Yu. My father couldn't take it anymore and slapped me across the face. I've received many such slaps as a child. I still remember how they felt. We are your parents. Have you gone mad? My father's hand was trembling after hitting me for the first time. Oh right, you're my parents. Because you gave birth to me, you can use that to bully me forever. Let's just make it quick. Just drain my blood for yourselves. Drain my blood for yourselves. Since living one more day is just one more day of torture, I might as well give this life back to you. I gripped the blade with both hands. Blood immediately flowed all over the floor. Zhao Yu, let go. Are you trying to kill me? My mother tried to pull me away, but I couldn't push her off. My father dropped the knife, collapsing on the floor. It was the first time I saw him cry. His eyes were deep red, and murky tears rolled down his cheeks. Do you hate us so much? Hate us enough to harm yourself and your sister? I still held the blade tightly, as if I could no longer feel the pain. My mother was already on her knees, trying to pry my hands off the blade. Let go. Let go. Doesn't it hurt? Doesn't it hurt, child? I couldn't say a word, just stared at them fiercely. He got up and pulled my mother, saying, Let's go out. Let's go out. Put the knife down. It's all our fault. We failed you. Don't hurt yourself anymore. Please. I'm sorry. He pulled my mother back step by step. I still stared at them numbly. Until they retreated outside the door, I heard my mother burst into loud sobs. How could this happen? Heavens, what did I do wrong? I still held the knife, just sitting on the floor, watching the blood flow. I'm crazy. I must be crazy. I've been crazy for a long time. Yan Jin turned pale when he saw me holding the blade. He approached me cautiously. I shouted, "Don't come closer." "Okay, I won't come closer." "Zhao Yu, be good, put the knife down first." I saw his anxious expression. He doesn't owe me anything. I let go of the knife. I tried my best to control myself, speaking as calmly as possible. "You must know everything by now. I'm the one who failed you." Before I could finish, he suddenly rushed over and hugged me. His embrace was so tight it felt like he wanted to crush me. I really like him. But what I learned from childhood is, the harder it is to let go, the more you must let go. I pushed him away forcefully, avoiding his gaze as much as possible. You don't have to be so moralistic. Someone like me, I'll survive even if the sky falls. I lived worse than a dog before, and I still made it this far. I'm sorry. I disturbed your wonderful life. It's not too late for you to turn back now. For a moment, I felt like I was sitting on pins and needles. Just as I was about to leave first, he suddenly said, "Zhao Yu, doesn't it hurt? Doesn't your heart hurt?" Hearing this, I became even more flustered, my nose aching terribly. But he pulled me over, holding me with one hand while reaching for the first aid kit with the other. My mother tried to say something, but my father simply pulled her away. The room fell silent instantly. Yan Jin quietly applied medicine and bandaged my hand. His movements were a bit rough. Now that I had calmed down, I felt the pain and gasped. "So you do know it hurts?" he said coolly. I stayed silent. He continued his one-sided tirade. "Why aren't you talking? Weren't you planning to abandon me?" I tried to pull my hand back, but he held it tightly. "Zhao Yu, am I really that unimportant in your eyes?" As soon as he said it, my tears started flowing again. He looked at me and finally sighed. "You've really got me wrapped around your finger." As he spoke, he clumsily wiped my tears. "Silly. I'm worth several of them." He pulled me into his arms, kissed my eyes, then cupped my face and said with utmost seriousness, "No next time, Zhao Yu. Don't you dare give up on me." I'd been suffering from insomnia, but that night, for the first time, I slept deeply. When I woke up in the morning, an arm was wrapped around my waist. We stared at each other, eyes wide. His expression was somewhat cold, very different from his usual gentle, sunny self. For a moment I didn't know what to do, but he got up and left. I wondered if I had hallucinated yesterday. This must be the breakup. This is what I deserve. I buried myself under the covers, unable to hold back my tears any longer. I don't know how much time passed before someone pulled the covers away. "Zhao Yu, are you trying to suffocate yourself to avoid me?" Yan Jin was holding a glass of milk and an egg in one hand while tugging at the covers with the other. Then he placed the food on the bedside table, pulled me into his arms, and I completely broke down, crying uncontrollably against his chest. He patted my back and sighed. "Clearly, you're the one who messed up, yet I'm the one who has to comfort you." After that morning, Yan Jin and I returned to our normal lives. He often participated in various competitions, while I went to work day after day. My mother did contact me frequently. She would send me long messages on WeChat, like mini essays. If it's really hard to speak openly, they can write letters. Back then I was naive. I actually wrote a long letter to my mother. She didn't even read it and asked if I had too much free time. If so, I could help her with more chores. And now she's sending me long messages on WeChat non-stop. For a moment, I found it incredibly ironic. Looking at her lengthy explanations, I replied, "What does that have to do with me?" "Zhao Yu, do you have to be like this?" My mother sent a voice message, already sounding tearful. That night, I received a call from my father. He said, "Do you hate us so much that you don't want your parents anymore? What do you want us to do? Do we have to die for you to be satisfied? Then what do you want me to do?" There was a long silence on the other end of the line. It had been a long time since my parents contacted me after that last incident. Until one day during my lunch break, Zhao Zhu, whom I hadn't seen in ages, suddenly appeared in front of me. She was wearing a professional suit, looking capable for the first time. The receptionist said she had been waiting for me for a long time. Seeing that I couldn't avoid it, I agreed to meet her. Her first words were, "Zhao Yu, it's been so long since you came home." I laughed bitterly. "I only went back once a year before anyway. We thought you were just busy with work." "We didn't expect ... She let out a long sigh. "Didn't expect what?" I asked, amused. "Didn't expect that you just didn't want to see us." "Oh, no." As she spoke, her eyes reddened. "We're family. How did we end up like this? We're family." Large tears rolled down her cheeks. I wanted to say, "Who's family with you?" But the words stuck in my throat and never came out. I only said, "You should go back. This is pointless." But she pleaded, "Zhao Yu, I'm the one who wronged you. Mum and Dad are getting old. Can't we just live peacefully? Mum has aged so much lately. She talks about you all the time. I'll take care of them in their old age. I'm the one who enjoyed the most. You don't have to support them, but could you just visit them more often? They miss you so much. We share the same blood. If they didn't miss me before, why would they now?" I held my teacup, smiling as I asked, "How do you know they don't miss you? Every time they go out, they say how good you are at everything. Just that they hardly get to see you." She tried to persuade me further. "I have other things to do. You can leave now." With that, I stood up and left first. After that, Zhao Zhu didn't come again. But my mother asked me for my new address. She said I had moved and she didn't know where to send things to me. "Why didn't you ever want to send me things before? I really find this pointless. I'll take on the responsibilities that are mine. I'll support you as required by law. You don't need to go through all this trouble." As soon as I sent the text, her call came through. "Zhao Yu, do you have to stab my heart over and over? Do you have to be like this? Do you hate us? Hate me this much? Zhao Yu, I don't want your money. I'll return all the money you gave before. Didn't you say raising you didn't cost much? Then don't give us any more money. Suit yourself." I was about to hang up. "Don't hang up. I beg you. Don't treat me like this. You came from my womb. How can you treat me like this? How can you? Zhao Yu, I'm your mother. You share my blood." She cried on the phone, her words barely coherent. "Then how do you want me to treat you? Did I ask you to drain my blood? And now you want to talk about mother-daughter feelings? What else do you want?" I couldn't control myself. Whenever I faced her, I lost control. I was spiraling again. "I don't want anything. I don't want anything. Just hate me." Hearing my words, her tone suddenly softened. In the end, we hung up in silence. After that, they didn't contact me again until just before New Year. My father called, asking when I was coming home. He said he'd make me braised chicken wings. I didn't know what to say. The moment he mentioned it, memories flooded back. I just couldn't move past it. Hearing my long silence, he anxiously asked over the phone, "Zhao Yu. Zhao Yu, what's wrong? Are you okay?" "I don't want to go back. Whether I go back or not doesn't make much difference." "Zhao Yu, how can you say that? You're our child too. If you don't come home, how can it be a real reunion? Can a family hold a grudge for this long?" I could hear him trying hard to be patient. "I'll transfer some money to you later. That's all. Do you think your parents are only that kind of parents? Can we only talk about money?" "I don't want your money." He sounded urgent on the phone. I hung up directly and transferred 10,000 yuan to him. For the first time, he didn't accept the money. Instead, he returned it saying, "I don't want money. Can't you just come back to see me?" I didn't reply again. Yan Jin and I finally got married. At the 2019 international competition, the team he led won the championship. The host asked him what he most wanted to do next. Under countless spotlights, he said, "I want to go back and marry my girlfriend. If she hasn't, I'll just beg her to say yes." I sat in the audience, crying and laughing. That night, back at the hotel, I wore the ring he had given me. He held my hand and suddenly stopped. He lifted my hand, looked at me, as if demanding an explanation. I smiled and asked, "What? You gave it to me. Can't I wear it? If you wear it, you can't take it back. He cut my face, not letting me look away. Looking at his serious expression, I finally said the yes I had wanted to say for so long. Then a passionate kiss came my way. Yanjin and I decided to have a small wedding, inviting only close friends and family from both sides. For me, that meant college and high school classmates. A few days before our wedding, I received a call from my mother. She angrily scolded me. "Zhao Yu, I'm your mother. I had to find out about your wedding from the news. What would you do if you knew?" I calmly retorted. "Zhao Yu, you can't treat your father and me like this." She repeated herself. "Mum, I still remember a year and a half ago, when I asked if you wanted to meet Yanjin. What did you say? How did this suddenly become so important now?" I asked her calmly. "It's different. Back then, your father and I thought you were very reliable, that nothing could go wrong. We didn't think much about it. Are you holding a grudge over this?" Her voice was breaking. "Reliable, sensible? The real reason is that you didn't want to spare a single thought for me, right? I promised to support you in your old age, and I won't go back on that. Enough. Zhao Yu, are you trying to kill me? Do you have to treat us like this? If you get married without your parents there, aren't you afraid your husband's family will bully you? Zhao Yu, is it that you just don't want us at your wedding? Aren't you afraid his family will look down on you later, that you'll have a hard time?" My mother cried louder and louder on the phone. "No matter how hard, can it be harder than the days I lived under your roof?" As I said this, my heart felt like it was bleeding. Tears I could no longer hold back streamed down my face. "Zhao Yu, can't you stop fighting with Mom and Dad?" She finally pleaded. "Do as you wish. If you want to come, come. If not, it doesn't matter." In the end, I relented. On the wedding day, my mother held my hand and said, "Live a good life from now on. Let everything be in the past." Several times I tried to pull my hand away, but her tears fell on my skin, and I instinctively stopped resisting. Then she suddenly said, "Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Your father and I have pensions. Your sister is nearby too. We won't bother you." I didn't speak, but when everyone else had left the room, she cautiously asked me, "Zhao Yu, you won't get married and never come back, will you?" I didn't know what to say. She suddenly grew anxious. "Are you really that stubborn? Is your heart really that hard?" I didn't know how to face her. I pushed her hand away, ready to leave, but she grabbed my hands with both of hers, like a child who had done something wrong. "I'm sorry. You know, Mom speaks without thinking. Don't take it to heart. I should go out now." That was all I could finally say. "Oh, okay." As soon as I opened the door, I saw my father standing outside. He was wearing a new suit, with an almost pleading smile. "Zhao Yu, I didn't embarrass you today, did I?" He was usually a bit unkempt, but today he had put in real effort. Looking at both of them, I felt a pang of sadness. I wanted to say something, but no words came out. Instead, tears came first. Seeing me cry, they panicked. "What's wrong? Do whatever you want. We'll agree to anything. Why couldn't you have been kinder to me before?" I finally choked out the words. "I'm sorry. It's all Mom and Dad's fault. Today is your happy day. Don't cry. I'm sorry. Mom was wrong. Mom was wrong." Seeing me cry, my mother couldn't hold back either. She started crying too, frantically wiping my tears. I pushed her away and strode out. Yanjin was waiting for me, not far away. He reached out his hand. The light seemed to be on him. He smiled at me.